What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to another Thursday episode of Clapback Culture. It feels so good to be home. And this week I got Rado back on the show with me, tag team and co-hosting. Rado, what's up? Welcome back to Clapback.
How you doing? Welcome to Clapback. I'm ready to get to it.
Good. Let's get into it. So, first topic I want to talk about, so we can just get this out the way. I know we've been talking about it in the last few days, but President Joe Biden's son has finally been charged. Well, he pled guilty to a few misdemeanors, two misdemeanor tax charges. We do have a quick clip. Let's go ahead and play that. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Good morning, Anna. Well, look, Hunter Biden is admitting to crimes here, but they're misdemeanors. 2 counts of willful failure to file taxes in 2017 and 2018. The specific, they're called, it's the criminal information that describes the charges, doesn't specify exactly how much tax Mr. Biden is alleged to have evaded, but it says he earned more than $1.5 million in each of those years and was required to pay more than $100,000 in each of those years and did not pay. It's been reported that he repaid more than $1 million in a tax bill while this 5-year investigation was ongoing. He's also agreed to admit the facts of possessing a gun when he wasn't supposed to possess one because he was addicted to drugs at the time, so he lied on a form. He's admitting to the facts of that charge, but will enter a pretrial adjudication program, so it won't go on his record. So the upshot here is that he's expected to receive probation as part of this plea deal. No jail time. He'll have to come to this courthouse behind me at some point and surrender, be processed by the federal marshals. But a significant victory for Mr. Biden, because NBC News has reported that there was at least one felony tax charge under consideration by the Justice Department. That hasn't been filed. And the DOJ was also looking very closely at Mr. Biden's foreign business entanglements and whether he, for example, represented foreign interests in the United States. There were no charges of any kind, no wrongdoing found by this U.S. attorney appointed by Donald Trump in those matters. And just to be very clear, we're already seeing criticism from Donald Trump and others that this is the Biden Justice Department cutting a sweetheart deal with the president's son. This investigation was run by the Trump-appointed U.S. attorney in Delaware, who was treated essentially like an independent counsel. There was no involvement by the Attorney General Merrick Garland or senior officials in the Justice Department other than career tax lawyers who have to be involved in any tax-related case. But that's the bottom line here. Hunter Biden agreeing to plead guilty to misdemeanors.
Okay, so why is all of this important? Let me tell you why this is important. We've never had a child of a sitting president actually be criminally charged for anything while the president was in office. So that's a huge deal. On top of the fact that this investigation has been going on for the last 5 years. And what's also mentioned in that clip, which is why I had it go a little bit longer, Rado, is the fact that there is this conversation that happened right before President Biden decided to run for president, that to determine whether or not Joe Biden and Hunter Biden colluded and had some type of foreign affairs and kind of like some bad dealings with foreign governments. Here's the thing. And I really want to take it from a parent angle, right? So you're Joe Biden, you're president of the United States, and you have your 53-year-old son who just can't get right? As a parent, of course, you want to keep your son close. Joe Biden and Jill Biden basically released a statement and said they're still proud of their son, they support him, and they just want to see everything kind of get resolved. How are you the president's son and the vice president's son, 50-something years old, and still can't get right?
White privilege. So, it's almost like a tag team. I can never wait to get into these juicy topics. But for one, let's just talk about the gun charge being dropped.
Right.
Can we just start there? In the work that I do in the society and community that I live in, that's what we're always being charged for, right? So to see him just get the gun charge dropped affected me tremendously. On top of him just getting everything else just swept under the rug. It's crazy to me. Like when I say it's crazy to me, it's crazy to me. But again, we are dealing with that good old white privilege, and you guys will hear me say it more and more today. The funny thing about it is that it's crazy because Trump always hops into these debates, right? He hates Biden so much, and it's like Trump came right out and told the world on countless occasions that what he evades taxes, he don't pay taxes. So it's like, I mean, can the Biden family get a little sauce from him? Because it's looking like they need it right about now.
Well, listen, if anything, this might be enough of the sauce that you need. I think if I'm thinking about reelection, I think this makes Joe Biden and his family seem a little bit more normal, right? Because you always got that cousin or that child or somebody that always is giving you a little bit of a hard time in the family. And so Joe Biden is not exempt from the norm. And so I think this could possibly help him in reelection. Maybe people are feeling a little bit more connected to it.
Well, it's funny because I thought it was very unfair how Trump used to say, old Joe. But Joe need to go sit down somewhere. He's moving slow nowadays. It's time for him to just give it up, take care of his family, and just live the rest of his days because he's moving pretty slow. But as we can see, his son is moving pretty fast these days. You got the money. Stop being cheap. Pay your taxes, man. It's crazy because I look at it as white privilege, but I also look at it as a petty crime as well, right? So you're coming at the top for $100,000 in tax evasion. Let's just say 200,000 because it's for years 2017 and 18. It's a drop in the bucket for him, And then you come out with this law to say, well, because he was addicted to drugs, he couldn't obtain a gun, which his lawyer is going to eat up. I mean, the two doesn't even make sense, right? So because I'm hooked on drugs, I can't defend myself. I'm lost. So, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But he'll come out of this like they come out of everything else. I think this was a publicity stunt to get them some popularity for the next race. We'll be seeing Hunter Biden run for president in the next term, guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving right along. Deadly weekend over in Chicago. Oh, wow. The Juneteenth holiday and Father's Day. This is a terrible story that is not just synonymous to Chicago, but I think we had a pretty deadly weekend here in Washington, D.C. My cousins in San Diego also talked about that. I saw a couple posts on social media. So gun violence is plaguing metropolitan cities. Chicago having one of the deadliest weekends we heard of. 75 people were shot in 51 separate incidents between Friday evening until Monday at midnight, marking one of the most violent weekends year to date. So there were 3 separate mass shootings that left at least 4 people dead. Rodney, give us a little bit more information on this.
Yeah, so I wanted to take a lead on this, and I'd like to start off first with a moment of silence. And we could just go for 2 seconds. Okay. I wanted to do that because like these stories, they always get swept under the rug. So if you guys don't know my profession, I work for an organization out of the Office of Attorney General here in Washington, D.C. called Cure the Streets. And what we do is we mediate conflict throughout the city in an effort to try to alleviate crime through, high-risk, individuals that can kind of relate to our life, right? They'll listen to us before they listen to the police. This hits home because we had a severe weekend here in Washington, D.C., and I'm seeing this all across the world. But I want to talk about this particularly because why isn't this national news? 75 people shot over a weekend, 13 fatalities. We don't see that in war, guys.
Yeah.
You don't see that in war. So when we fight against Afghanistan, we have these wars all over the place. You have thousands of troops, and you think about the movies and you have, them coming at each other one side and then on the other side. People die over a span of days and weeks and months, yes. And the death toll can tally up. But 75 individuals shot in a 3-day span, guys, is out of control. That's 25 individuals shot each day. That is horrendous. That is crazy. That is a war zone. And what we have to understand is that we're no longer dealing with just a a pandemic, we're dealing with a sickness. This is a sickness that's plaguing our city, and we have to step in and do something about this. Obviously, because no one's coming to help us, no one's coming to save us but ourselves. My heart prayers go out to everyone in Chicago. I'm telling everybody, put the guns down, pick the kids up today. This gun violence has to stop. It's sickening, and it's no place for it. It's no place for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I'll add to this is that officers are reporting that they're still feeling encouraged, despite this, this feeling of hopelessness that nothing is going to happen. And so oftentimes when we have, strong incidents of violence, we do feel hopeless. Like there's nothing that we can do individually to have a strong impact, but we do all have a responsibility to do our part. And we cannot allow ourselves to get desensitized and think that this is normal behavior. And so we got to really come up with some intervention strategies to get these guns off the street, get these guns out of people's hands, and just really encourage more peace in our communities all throughout the country.
Population control is real, and I won't elaborate on that, but this is not happening by accident. Obviously, we've had times where people have become aggressive over time, when it comes to just human beings, but the government understands how to fix this issue. They won't fix it. We have to fix it ourselves. We are dying every day, guys. The reason why this is not national news, because we have allowed us as people to become desensitized. We have to understand that not only is this an issue, but when one person dies, it is an alarming issue. We are not burying people that have lived for 80 and 90 years and are happily dying. No, we are burying our kids, 13 years old, 12 years old. Here in Washington, D.C., we just had 2 young people under the age of 13 get killed. I'm tired of it. You have to be tired of it, man. Let's move on.
All right, moving on. All right. There is a video, you guys, that surfaced the internet amid this graduation season. And I want to share it with the audience. And then I want to get your feedback, Rodney, to determine whether or not this appropriate response. So here is some quick background on what happened. A graduate, I couldn't figure out what school she attended, but it looks like she's graduating from college. They're having a very weird outside ceremony. So it's not like she's walking across the stage per se, but there's an altercation that happens because she feels that she didn't get her name said before she walked across the stage.
Get the recognition, sis. Get that recognition.
Let's see. Let's look.
Racism being done towards her. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Okay. Let's go. You didn't let me get my moment, so I want to say my name is Khadijata Diallo, and I'm graduating today. I don't like how you snatched the mic out of my hand, so today is going to be all about me.
Oh, drops the mic. Congratulations!
Here's my story time. Basically, what happened was I was walking on and we had to announce our names and say our name before we get on the stage. So I was saying my name and she literally, my name is long. My name, obviously, I have like 3 syllables in my name. I'm not gonna say exactly my name right now, but okay, just so you get a point. So I didn't even finish getting to say my name. And then the people that went before me and everything, they all got to say their name, their major, and even extras. And me and the other girl noticed that she was pulling the mic down super fast for some Black people. I don't want to be that person, but that was the tea. So, I mean, I just couldn't let that happen because I just feel like I worked so hard to graduate and went through so much shit to graduate that I just felt like I had to reclaim my moment. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a problematic person. I don't want to ruin no one's day. I don't want to violate anybody, but that's what she did. She didn't even let me finish speaking.
Yeah, I don't know if reclaiming your moment was really had. Rodney, I'll give you the first take
So,
on this. Take it away.
so this is my thing, right? I'll bravo to her. If I was her father, if I was her parent, I would allow her to have her time. I feel that people need to step back and give our young people a time to celebrate their accomplishment. It is disgusting when you see these new guidelines put in place for people that graduate. If you seen that school that went viral a couple of weeks ago, Jules, where all the graduates was dancing and they was kind of like sitting and dancing and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
needless to say, it also went viral a couple of weeks ago when a young man was arrested and escorted from his graduation for dancing, right? It is disgusting to come in and disrupt these young people for having their 3 seconds. Okay. They come in and it takes 3 to 8 seconds for them to do their little dance or say what they need to say and keep it moving. If this is going to mess up your ceremony or drag it along an extra 30 minutes, so what? These kids have been through 12 years of regular school, then another 4 years of undergrad. Let her have her moment. She was disrespected. No one gave her time to say her name or have her time, and she took her time. Good for you. Sometimes when people don't give you your spotlight, you got to take it. And honey, she took it.
Honestly, I'm suffering from secondhand embarrassment by the way that she went about it. I think you have a valid point in that young people who are graduating deserve their opportunity to be celebrated. To me, I feel like she lost the moment by her overreaction. Okay. I think she got too emotional about it. And though she did feel rushed, I think what I would have done differently is I wouldn't have moved until I got the opportunity to say my whole name. The clip goes further on in her story time to say that in addition to her not being able to say her name, other people got to say like, hey, my name is Jules. I'm a journalism major. And they got to say a little bit more about themselves. So it seems like she didn't get an opportunity to do such. I would have liked to see a couple of the other clips to see what happened beforehand to get a little bit more background. But I think she honestly made a donkey out of herself. And it wasn't even like, you're just going to be the girl. You're going to be remembered as the girl who went flagrant to say your name. And then we didn't even hear your name. Like, it wasn't like she got the mic and was like, my name is Julia Elise Jessie, and I'm a such and such and such and such.
Yeah, you sound tossing out, and you sound sweet too. Yeah,
like if she was gonna do it, she should have reclaimed her moment with a little bit of nobility and some, a little bit more bravado. Instead, she went super ratchet out of emotion and really lost her moment on that. So I understand what she was trying to do, but I think it's a failed attempt, and she looked wowed. I have a little bit of embarrassment behind that. And I'm sure that's not how she wanted it to go.
Sometimes you just have to take your moment. So I do feel like there's a little trauma behind young people understanding what's going on, right? So there is a movement where officials are coming in and taking a moment from our young people. And that was a moment. The mic, if you heard her say it, it was snatched out of her hand disrespectfully, right? You should never have the mic taken from you at any given time. You should be able to give the mic when you're done, right? And that's just how it should be. I think that was just her way of reclaiming her moment, because before she could even get out what she had to say, she had to put that woman in place, right? That white woman. And I will say this, I love white people, but I'm always getting on that. You took that mic from that young girl and she felt disrespected. It is not about the officials on that day. It is about our graduates. We have to find a way to transfer the power back to our young people. We are celebrating them. We are not controlling this environment to take away from them. We are there to celebrate. Every person that are in any kind of auditorium or any place, you are there to support those graduates. And I feel like we are failing as a society now with this whole new narrative that people can't celebrate because it looks too ghetto. You don't see white people dancing, it looks too ghetto. But guess what? White people are dancing now. White people are doing all of our dances and stealing all of our culture like they always do it, and I hate it because it's stereotypic that we have to be a certain way. We are not that way as African Americans. We got that spaz to us, and when we get on any kind of platform, we gonna let it show. And I feel like that's what happened. But touche, I get what you said.
But I mean, but that's not what she did in the clip, right? She didn't. I think it's apples and oranges. What you're talking about is other clips that went viral where people were not able to celebrate in the way that
affected her. That affected her. I feel like there's a direct effect on how that happened. But I feel like
hold on. Let me, because I let you speak. So let me get my thought in. My thought on this is that there has to be still a level of decorum. Like, we cannot allow graduates or anybody in all of their excitement to take over a program that already is scheduled. Otherwise, you'll be at a graduation, which is already 5 hours, for an additional 5 hours because everyone wants to do their own thing when they get the mic. However, there is a time and a place. Now, was the person who gave her the mic probably rushing her along? Absolutely, because guess what? What happens is the first 30 people go up there. You give them all a little bit of room to be like, this is Jules, Jessie, and then they all say a little bit more. So by the time you get to the 50, 60, 70th person, you like say your name and come on.
But she never got a chance to say her whole name. That's the issue.
Well, she didn't. And even when she jacked the mic out of her hand and did this whole thing and did her purse, we still don't know the girl's name. And in fact, she didn't even say her name in the story time. So I'm not even really sure if she had the moment of reclaiming her time. I just don't think, I don't think it gave that. I think she got super emotional. There should have been a better way to have done it. True. She missed the mark.
True.
She missed the mark.
There's a way to do things. I just feel like that was her way, you know.
It was her way. I agree with that. It was her way. It was tasteless. And if I was her parent, I would be having a conversation with her on how to correct her emotions. I mean, you would have said, you're definitely a person to say, like, you need to keep your emotions in check.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, she let herself.
But I'm also that parent that's like, do things the right way, right? So it's like, you know what, you should have handled that different. But when I get in the room with you, I'm like, yeah, babe, she went crazy. I'm not going to allow the child to see that, because I want them to be able to articulate and do things the right way. But when me and you get in the room and close that door, I'm like, man, she went crazy, you know. But I get it.
Well, before we move on, we do have a great question that just came in. So I want to put that up. Do you think her action will cause her any repercussions, backlash, maybe not landing the next job, etc.? Do you think this is going to have any repercussions? 100. I do. I do. If they, well, here's the thing. She was smart by not posting her name. Because typically what's going to happen is someone's going to be able to Google search you. But if someone recognizes her in the clip, they're like, you have a tendency to get highly emotional over, in a moment's notice, So do I think it could have repercussions? Perhaps. Because everything lives on the internet and never dies.
It never dies. So I can agree with you. I don't think it'll have any backlash, but I do think there is a possibility in the day that we're living in. If somebody don't like you and they pull that up, it's a wrap for you. So yes, great question. Vote for humanity.
All right, let's go ahead and move it along. We're going to do one more topic and then we're going to go to a quick break. So I'm going to give us this topic real quick.
Okay.
Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have softly agreed to battle it out in a cage match. Okay, so here's what happened. Somebody was basically tweeting on Twitter. Of course, you can't tweet anywhere else. So here we are. We're on Twitter, and someone basically puts it out there that there needs to be a company that comes out with a rival for Twitter. And Elon challenged Mark Zuckerberg, who is the owner of not only Facebook, but Instagram through Meta, and basically said, I'll challenge you to a cage match if you're up for it. Zuckerberg responded to the screenshot of the tweet and dropped, "Send me your location." So they went back and forth a little bit. And proposed the Vegas Octagon as a preferred place, to have this UFC match. And, and listen, Elon also joked that he has this walrus move where he lays on top of his opponent and does nothing. So Twitter had a really good time with this. I don't know necessarily if they're going to actually battle it out in a cage match, but these two tech giants, these two billionaires of the world, how interesting and funny would that be to see them really get into a physical altercation?
These nerds cannot fight. This is another Ant Glizzy and David Ruffy fight. This is gonna look terrible. Terrible. They got 0% muscle mass. I mean, I love these. I won't just call them tech giants. I'll call them two of the geniuses of the world. I respect both of these men highly in what they've done to move society forward from a technology perspective. But please, let's just keep it there. Won't you guys do a versus battle with like tech? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's not that it wouldn't be as interesting.
It wouldn't, but it's definitely not going to be interesting to see these men get into the octagon. I mean, they have you.
You know what they could do? They could put the VR goggles on and they could battle it out in the metaverse, and they could sell it so that everybody would have to watch it from the VR.
Now you are genius, Luz. Now you're genius. Now
fight your avatars.
Put that on, they're gonna look crazy. The avatars, they're gonna be able to do all kind of stuff. And they tech geniuses, so they're gonna be putting all cheat codes in and finish them. Yeah,
it'll be a battle of the cheat codes.
Yeah.
Do you remember that back in the day, like when you had like played like Zelda or even Mortal Kombat?
Absolutely. The cheat codes were so important. They used to have them in the book. We didn't really have access to internet, but used to go and buy the books out of the little game stores. Man, that was a serious thing. For us, for guys, we all grew up playing Mortal Kombat, so we all wanted to know like the fatality, what I'm saying, the finishing moves, you know what I'm saying? You had to go back for a BB-8 thing, and then they'll come out and do all this stuff. So that was a serious thing, a very serious thing.
That I think would be more interesting than to actually watching them physically duke it out. Listen, guys, let's take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about Shaq. He is still calling Shaunie O'Neal his wife.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
It's giving a mess. Listen, stay tuned. You're watching Clapback Culture.
Baby.
Hi, I'm King Jr. Just when you thought it was hot in Seattle, it just got hotter. The HBCU Swingman Baseball Classic will be held at T-Mobile Park. Here's an opportunity for these kids to showcase their talent playing baseball because they love the game of baseball. All-Star game before the All-Star game. Not everybody can go to a Power 5 conference, but that shouldn't stop you from playing the game that you love. There's a lot of great players who played our game who went to historical black colleges. So why don't you come show your support, show your love, and stop by. This is powered by T-Mobile, MLB, MLBPA, Youth Development Foundation. The HBCU Swingman Classic at T-Mobile Park. It's gonna be hot.
One in every 500 African Americans in the U.S. suffers from sickle cell disease. 1 in 3 African American blood donors is a match for patients with sickle cell. 1 appointment to donate blood with the American Red Cross can help save a life. Will you be that one? Visit redcrossblood.org/ourblood today to schedule an appointment at a location near you.
The new COVID-19 updated booster provides the best protection available right now. So don't wait. Stay safe this summer and get your updated booster today. To find a free vaccine provider near you, go to kingcounty.gov/vaccine.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Clapback Culture. I'm so glad you guys are tuned in with us. Please share the stream now. Let somebody know what we're talking about, because this is the portion of the show where we're doing it for the culture, honey. Okay, so we coming through with a little bit of mess.
So now we're doing it for the culture.
Time to do it for the culture. I know this is your favorite segment, so let's do it.
Time to act up.
All right, culture. Listen, Shaq went on a recent podcast that's set to air actually in the next few days, where he was talking about his ex and the mother of all his children, Shawnee O'Neal, about, really Shawnee being the perfect one and how she was the one that got away. And really he was just kind of recapping in the episode that he was just really grateful that she forgave him, and that his new kind of conversation to his sons is like, don't be like me, be better than me, and give a woman everything, not just be a provider, right? And so he's talking a little bit about regret. But then he says this. So Shaq says, despite not being in a relationship with the woman he let get away, he still protects, provides, and loves them. Shaq is now married to Pastor Keon Henderson, and they've been married since 2021. Shaq says he's happy for her, but she's still his wife. He says this, hold on. He says this in quote, Shawnee's married. I'm happy for her. I hope this gentleman treats her the way she's supposed to be treated, and I'm still going to love her, and she's still my wife. I will always protect, provide, and love her, married or not. Y'all, what are your thoughts on this?
Kids they got together?
5 or 6. Yeah.
Would you have 6 kids with a girl? What's the rule? She yours forever. Listen, when a man comes out like that, first of all, Shaq is 7 feet, 500 pounds. He's not scared of nobody. Shout out and respect to the new husband she got. But that's Shaq's wife. That's Shaq's wife forever, man. He done put 6 kids on the woman. Yes, he owns her. Everything about her, he owns. 7 kids. That's his wife. I don't care who she gets married to. When he says this, that's his wife. So the other guy, he's a very nice guy, very nice pastor, and everything like that. We love you, we respect you. But we know Shawnee for being Shaq's wife. Nobody on this thing could tell you who Shawnee's husband is. But they can
we can.
No, but they could tell you that she's Shaq's ex-wife. Her identity, her soul, her spirit is all connected to Shaq. That's Shaq's wife forever. She cannot, even in death. He coming to get her in death. So listen to this now, Lucy, because right now I'm letting you know now, even in death, you belong to me. You belong to me.
Can you guys please tap in these comments and let me know what's going on? Because listen, I partly agree with a few things that you said. I still think it's blatantly disrespectful that Shaq is out here in these streets still claiming Shawnee as his wife.
Yes.
Listen,
yes.
Pastor Henderson is a good guy, and they have been married for the last 2 years. Shawnee has moved on. However, to your point, her listen, to your point, very small portion of this, she is the executive producer of Basketball Wives, and so that is us basically having this conversation because she is formerly Shaq's wife, the mother to all of his children, the heirs to his throne. It's kind of like being a Kardashian. You never really stop being a Kardashian, right? Like you never really can separate the two.
Yeah, I get that. But the Kardashians got more of a devilish spell. It's just kind of different. It's kind of like they got the devil got a hand in that with the Kardashians. There's some evil people.
Well, what I'm talking about is brand recognition, right? I'm talking about brand recognition.
Well, are you sure that when it picked the kids up, that Shawnee just did give him a little bit of
stop.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Listen,
mean, 20 years, that's a lot. I mean, good guys finish last.
no, Shaq is not a good guy. If you
No,
remember,
no,
he
I'm talking about Pastor
record of
Thomas.
being a habitual cheater.
I'm talking about Pastor, black guy, black men don't cheat. Don't put that on him. That was in the past. He's been forgiven by the pastor. That pastor that Shawnee is with had forgiven Shaq. So now Shaq can go on being the forever husband.
Listen,
I bet you Shaq walk in their house and go straight in the refrigerator and everything. What is that pastor going to do? Listen, at the end of the day, let me tell you something about a woman. A woman will respect who they with, but a woman will not bow down to a male that's not dominant. I'm not saying that pastor is not, but I guarantee you when Shaq go in that house, he go in that refrigerator. And I guarantee you that when he talks to Shawnee and looks right over that pastor and says, Shawnee, where's my kid? Hey,
listen.
Who's Shaq, Lucy? Who's going to fight Shaq? Are you going to fight Shaq? Because I'm going to act like it. While we here right now, I'm going to talk all the trash. Of course I'm going to fight Shaq, babe. Yeah. What, Shaq did something to you? Of course. Soon as we see Shaq, nigga, close that door. That man's like Goliath. It's like David and Goliath.
But this is the thing. First of all, I don't know if Shaq is even invited into the pastor's home, but he better leave. Listen, the pastor is ordained, honey. He is anointed. And please don't play with pastor and Jesus, okay? That's one thing you don't want to play with. So Shaq, sit this fight out, because guess what? You're going to do something on earth that you can't cash into, okay?
But
no.
they were married before God. Shaq and Shawnee was married. And what did it say? Till death do us? Okay.
No.
We are here before the Lord. Okay, but okay, well, you know.
Listen, you know what? I can't even have this conversation with you because it's too much. It's too intense. Y'all, listen, the man is Shaq, leave Shawnee O'Neal alone. Leave her alone. Let her go on and carry it through. All right. Speaking of marriage, on the same topic, I am sure you're going to have so much to talk about on this. I got a clip of Aisha Curry.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Let me introduce the clip for people who haven't seen it. So Aisha Curry was guest hosting on The Real the other day. This is very controversial because she is pretending to take off her ring when a sexy man comes out with a drink. So let's take a look at the clip and then we'll talk about, was it inappropriate?
All right.
Okay, so let me also let you guys know that everyone on that stage is married except for Lonnie Love, who is also in a relationship, but everybody else is married. Jeannie's married. Emily is married. Everybody's married. Is it inappropriate that she jokingly took off her ring?
Every male, as soon as you get home, our argument is going to start like this. We're going to say, why were you the only one on national TV doing this? Why? Everybody else could have done so. Why is it that it was you? That's what everybody's going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what a man is going to say. Out of everybody, why is it you? You get what I'm saying? It's not only is it inappropriate, it just shows that she wants attention in all the wrong places. And I don't like it. Now, to her defense, right? She was just, doing it. She's married. She was doing it for the show. She will definitely probably say it was just nothing. But for a man, it's something. It's a whole lot, especially when you're doing that with supposedly a sexy male, right? I don't think it's a place for it, because if the shoe was on the other foot, oh, it'd be crazy. And trust and believe, they coming for my man Steph. The women would have came hard. So for me, I don't like it. I would have been pissed. If I would have seen you on national TV doing that, or we would have had a conversation, honey, a spicy one when you got home. And my first question would have been, why is everybody else on the show chilling? Why didn't they feel that they needed to do that? What made you feel you needed to do that? It's not a good look when you play with a man's ego like that. It's not a good look. And I don't want to hear, oh, we should be secure in our own. That's all bullshit. Our women are our rock. I'm sorry, excuse me, but that's BS. Our women are our rock. They represent us. And it's very, very important for a woman to be better than the male, always. Yes, I feel like it's a double standard, but at the end of the day, there is a very much place for our rock. And when us men see our rock acting that way, it affects us in a much deeper sense than it does a woman.
I think you got to know your partner in order to get away with something like this. I also think it's important that if it were Steph Curry on the platform and did the same thing, I think it just brings in too many conversations. I also think that I'm not sure why that was her initial reaction in doing that. But I think that kind of speaks to where she's kind of at. Again, I do think she did it in a joking manner.
This is not the first time.
It's not the first time. And I think that's why social media is kind of up in arms about it. And they're really up in arms about it because Ayesha Curry has in years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, before she, went through a whole little transformation, really came off as attention seeking. And I think this is just one of those things that I think she just didn't check herself right away. I think she kind of forgot that she was on a national stage. If you notice, Jeannie Mai grabbed her hand and kind of like pushed it down and was like, come on, girl. And she's married to Jeezy. Okay, so Jeezy's not giving that. I think you got to understand and know your partner.
Jeezy's not giving
that. It's not giving that. I think
know the male that you're with. We know
you gotta know your partner. You definitely gotta know your partner, and you gotta know if your partner is okay with this, then live on. I would, if you did something like that, I can't say that I would have felt super embarrassed if it played out exactly how Ayesha did, because I knew she was joking and it was in good fun. I do feel like it was distasteful, and I think I may have said like, just, relax. I just think she just reacted without thinking.
Did you pay attention to her body, her posture, and how she was even after this? Like, I know we're talking about the actual action of her playing, but she was like the giggly and like it was a whole thing. And I mean, when you guys can watch the clip again, but it wasn't just the initial action of her just acting like she's gonna take her ring. I mean, she was giggly and like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think this show probably was doing that in good fun. Listen, I think it was in good fun. I do think it was not tasteful for everyone being married on the stage. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have done that with all married women, because it's not like a bachelorette, right? Like, that's kind of like a bachelorette thing. Now, if you're the married girls and one of your friends is, like the bachelorette, I get that. Like, there's kind of a time and a place for that. So I'm not sure why the show felt it important to do that when all the women on stage are married. So
my wife not playing with me like that on national TV. Like, if you're doing that, do you understand the severity of things that women do behind closed doors that's inappropriate with their friends? I find that inappropriately appropriate, because they're doing things in that masked environment, which is only they can see, right? It's their private time to do what they want. But on national TV, you are sending a message and you're showing that you don't respect me in that way. I also will double down on this, because if you understand people with that kind of statue, like her and Steph, the kind of money he has, they understand how to act in public, right? They have publicists. They have so many individuals that train them how to act. They understand how every action is a reaction. They understand how to carry themselves on social media. They just understand who they are. So to have done that, right, was intentional. So you already knew what this would bring. You knew what this would bring, and then to act extra afterwards and not catch yourself, it's like it's giving something there. We all know Steph Curry. We know he's soft as cotton. We know he's a very soft individual. You can see it in his demeanor. Every woman, every man sees it, right? But you still don't run over that. You know, your man worth $500 million or more. Girl, take your behind home. I hate girls that come up with a guy and then just feel like, oh, all of a sudden they just want to just have their own identity all of a sudden when you just made goddamn $500 million with me. Her job was to sit back, be the wife, all this. I wanted to live out my dreams. No, you came up with your husband. We got 500 million. We rich forever. That was your job. That was what you were put here and ordained for. Now take your portion of this 500 million and sit your behind down, because you ain't gonna be on TV acting like that.
I want to get this last comment in before we go to commercial break, but I kind of want to think about what Emily Stockman is saying, and she's saying this. I think because in some sense they are actors, so it's not past her to naturally react in a playful manner. So I want to think about this. Okay. You got to think Ayesha Curry is growing up as an influencer. She's probably in performance mode as she gets on the stage. This could be her alter ego in a sense. And I still think your point is valid in that even when you're in your professional role and you're acting and you're kind of being that, you do have to remember not to blur those lines, right? Like there still is some respect and decorum that you have to make sure that your relationship is secure, even if it's insecure, right? Like you don't want the public all in your business, okay? I think it was a moment of carelessness on her part. Do I think she was doing it maliciously? No. Do I think she was doing it playfully? Absolutely. Was Steph offended by it? Probably not, because to your point, he doesn't really seem like that kind of guy. He doesn't really seem like this is really bothering him. He did marry this girl despite her, you know, this is still the same woman who said, you know, she feels some type of way that dudes are not sliding in her DM because she wants to feel pretty. She wants to feel wanted and desired. And why are dudes not sliding in her DM? This is something that she came out instead publicly, and wanted kind of that affirmation and that reaffirming, if you will. I just think, there may be more to the story, but
But in an effort to move forward, I will say this. There is a penalty to every woman and what roles you decide to take, even if you are an actress. If you want to take that sex role and show your breasts or do anything on scene, and you can come home and say that, hey, babe, it was a part of my professional role, you still have to take what comes with that, what comes with how you hurt the pride of your husband in any kind of way, right? And then the last thing I will say, I heard you say, Jules, that it didn't affect Steph, and I will beg to differ. Maybe it might not affect the Steph, but it definitely affected Dale. Now, for you, I know you might not know who Dale is, but there's a difference between Steph and Dale. Dale is Steph Curry's father, and he's very much old school, very much someone that looked at this. Also, somebody who was very, very feisty is Steph Curry's mom, who was very much will look at this and have had problems in the past and will say, I don't like that. And they are very much so the spokesmen for Steph on numerous occasions. But I'll move forward with this. We can go all over the place. But yeah. I don't like this. I don't. Okay.
All right. All right, y'all, listen, let's take a quick, very, very, very quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about the submarine. You guys stay tuned. You're watching Clapback Culture.
Clapback.
Hi, I'm Besa Gordon from Converge Media, Hits 106.1 and Back to Besa on Fox 13. And I'm Buki Gates from Baseball Beyond Borders.
And we are here at T-Mobile Park, where on July 7th, they will host the very first ever HBCU Swingman Classic.
That's right, Basic. Ken Griffey Jr., the kid, has rounded up 50 of the very best ball players from HBCUs from all across the country, from schools like Jackson State, Grambling, Southern, FAMU, North Carolina A&T, Alabama State, and many more.
It's literally the All-Star game before the All-Star game, right?
Exactly. And the fact that the very first HBCU Swingman Classic is happening right here in the Emerald City is a big deal.
A big deal indeed. And it sounds like a whole lot of Black college homecoming vibes.
You already know what it is. Don't miss out on this historic opportunity to see the very best of the best Black college baseball players right here at T-Mobile Park on July 7th. Tickets are on sale now at allstargame.com. That is allstargame.com. See you there.
The new COVID-19 updated booster provides the best protection available right now. So don't wait. Stay safe this summer and get your updated booster today. To find a free vaccine provider near you, go to kingcounty.gov/vaccine.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Prosperity in Black America. What will this require? Is Black business prospering? Are we reaching women and minority-owned businesses? How do we achieve earning parity for wealth for our families? Do our children really have access to education? Will our families have choices for our children? Prison pipelines, mass incarceration, tearing our families apart. A healthcare system not accessible to the masses. The disproportionate termination of Black women from corporate America. When will we actually begin to address what's really at play? How do Black people gain more power to help make these changes? This requires a lot of political will and courage. I'm that provocateur of change. I am Cindy Bright. Welcome to Heartbeat.
Hey guys, welcome back to this episode of Clapback Culture. Listen, we are running out of time, but we have some great topics here for you. So I want to get in two topics if we can. Okay. The submarine, the submersible, you guys, that had 5 passengers aboard has now been determined that the 5 souls have been lost and that the submarine actually imploded. And so it's a catastrophic implosion. I think one of the best things about this, if we have to think about a bright side, is that, you know, initially I was thinking about, wow, this submersible was in the water, lost at sea. And, you know, there's 5 people in there thinking about, you know, we're just running out of air, and they're kind of just twiddling their thumbs until, you know, their imminent death. But, you know, experts are saying, listen, this happened instantly. They had no idea it was going to happen. And so we're thinking about a very merciful kind of way to pass. So let's give those 5 souls a quick moment of silence. Ashe, amen. And so our hearts are with those people and their families. One thing I do want to note that I was on social media, because these people are billionaires, you know, a lot of people were saying like they were stupid for going on this, but I want people to know that Rodney has this controller because
I'm not doing anything.
I mean, because that is the same type of controller that you can use to steer the boat. But listen, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay. What the hell was these guys doing in a goddamn submarine with a damn PlayStation remote? I mean, come on.
They were explorers. All of them. They were all explorers.
This is Rigo's. This is my son. So Rigo is steering the submarine?
Listen, when we talk about these passengers that were aboard, okay, one of them was the chairman of Action Aviation. Okay, he, all of these people had Guinness World Records. One of them, for traveling around the earth the fastest. Some of them, this guy is out of control. Stockton Rush. This one's the most interesting to me. Okay, he's the founder of OceanGate. He's also, so he's the one who was in charge of the submersible and the actual submersible itself, right? The company. Okay. He was the youngest jet transport pilot in the world when he was 19, flying to destinations such as Cairo, Mumbai, Zurich, etc. Right. So he's been in aviation and all of these things in deep sea, all of these things. Like all these people are like researchers and novice. So listen, I feel like they died doing what they loved. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what interests them. They, one of them actually was aboard that rocket with Jeff Bezos to go see the moon. So these people died full, right? Like they died doing everything that they loved. And I think the only person aboard that we should really feel some type of way about is the 19-year-old who was with his dad. And people said that he was a great father. He went with his dad to, he went with his dad because he just wanted to spend some more time with him, but he did not want to get on this and he felt some type of way about it. But listen, these people are not regular folks. Okay. It's not like me and you, just like hopping on a boat, and like they weren't innocent. They knew what could have happened. And so to me, that makes me feel a little bit better.
A little bit better.
I feel a little bit better. I think, I feel some type of way for the 19-year-old son who passed away. I feel some type of way for the families who have lost these people. This is a huge impact. Stockton Rush, if you didn't know, and this has to be our last thing because we got to get out of here. But do you know that his wife is a few generations or attached to, I don't know if this is true or not, but it's shown on social media that her family is, and you guys, in full context, we just watched Titanic right before this happened here in the house. We were talking about it. The older couple that died in Titanic, the one they were laying in the bed together side by side. You remember that couple?
Yeah.
They're saying that Stockton Rush's wife is related to them.
Wow. So still trying to find
the descendant of the Titanic.
Okay. I understand that now. So okay. I get it then. I get it. I get it.
I saw on social media. Hold on, I gotta get this in before the minute's out. I saw on social media. Listen, you guys are so savvy in these comments. Someone said they paid $250,000 for the Titanic experience, and they got it.
They got it. Nah, that's crazy. They really got it. So we don't have any time to talk about Zion.
None. We're out. Listen, you guys, when we come back next week, we gotta talk about Zion. There's no way to cover all of that in 4 minutes. We need a full 15-20 minutes to do that.
Y'all, we was about to have a ball with Zion. Zion is out of control. Please come here next week, y'all. I will be back just to talk about Zion. Zion is out of control.
Zion Williamson, we'll be talking about next week.
Zion. Porn star Zion. Porn star Zion.
Listen. All right, y'all. Listen, Rodney, when you are not here on Clapback Culture, where can they find you?
You guys can find me at Rado007 on Facebook, Rado007 on Instagram, Rado007 also on TikTok. I love y'all. So good to see you guys. I'm out.
All right. And you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because I'll be on there a little bit. At Treasure of JULES. You know what it is. Pull up, follow me. Let me know what you want to talk about next week. Until then, this has been a great episode of Clapback Culture. Thank you, Rodney, for coming. You're coming back next week.
Let's go!
Thank you. Thanks for watching.